All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Some of us black people enable racism. You know, I've been doing some other things, and haven't got the chance to do many videos, but I'm getting into it right now. You got some black people, some of our people, who will always deflect racism to what we can and cannot do better without addressing what somebody else can do better. So, i.e., what I mean is, you got some black people out here that are trying to lecture us, but never really lecture anybody else. So, racism is not something we created. So, why are you lecturing us about it, but at the same time not talking about the people who created or benefit from it now, which is those are the kind of people who enable it. You got some of these clergy out here, i.e., pastors in churches, who constantly want to pacify and pussify everybody. And the reason being is because strong people don't stand up for themselves. You know, an old quote, especially about church, is God and fear don't occupy the same space. And when you're teaching fear, or to act out of fear, and to live in fear and react off of fear, you're not occupying the same space as God anyways. So you're wasting your time with church and being religious anyway. But that they are enabling racism to keep going along. Another thing is, um, we have some of our own who, i.e., some of our men, women, who either want to coon to get ahead at the detriment of their own children and grandchildren and legacy, so they can live good or feel like they live good. They enable this. What I mean by that, as far as the men are concerned, you rarely see a man who's gonna be aggressive, who's not gonna take the blatant disrespect publicly or privately um, in the media, but it's their media, so that's how they do things. Those guys, they're on purpose. It's always people who are scared and scared to say that they're scared. Some of our women do the same exact thing. That's it, and so, but they have a different dynamic, which is when I hear mothers, especially, talk about, you know, on one end, men and women are equal, and black women got it just as bad as anybody else, and they always get to the same point where they say, "Well, I don't know what I'm gonna tell my son because I don't understand. I don't know how my son is supposed to navigate." But so you can't talk to him about how life works. You know it's way different from how you operate. He can't do those things, and you know that. So you know it's probably harder for it is harder for him than it is for you. But you're enabling racism to keep going on because it's not as hard for you. So you rather be a buffer than the person actually getting it, and that goes for both the men and the women to that degree. Uh, I'm talking about black police officers and some military people. Military and police is really different, you know, or law enforcement, because you could throw in what I mean by police, maybe feds, ATF, DEA, CIA. You know what I'm saying? Military, that's the, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine. I'm not talking about that right now. Um, black guy, those cops and agents are scared. You don't see them saying, you know what, this partner got to go. You don't see them saying, hey, that dude, he's racist, he got to go. You don't see them saying, look, I can't work with this guy, send him somewhere. You don't see them saying, you know what, I signed up to be in my own neighborhood and they pushed me out. You don't see them saying anything. They have a no snitching policy, so they're in part enabling all this stuff to happen. Because 9 times out of 10, when you see these guys dying, especially by the hands of law enforcement, you don't see any black officers. Now I've had my run-ins with officers before, and some of them were just doing their job. Some of them was assholes. Majority of the assholes wasn't black. Majority of the people, not all, yeah, majority of the assholes wasn't black. All the people who called for backup were white for no reason. You know, the only and I share this with you. The only time two cops that one white cop tried to start a fight with me, and I told him I beat his ass for his backup came. He backed down. Another cop, for some odd reason, he understood where I was coming from. So he's like, let me do what you need to do, and then we'll talk. And I appreciate that guy, but he's an Asian guy. But that's how those brothers enable it, because they don't fight against it even when they're in it. And it was naive to a degree to go into law enforcement thinking you could change people, in my opinion. But then you also got the people who they always want to talk about black on black crime. Yeah, well, you got an element in our community that have become the face that are not the face of our community. And I don't blame the criminals for being the face of our community. I blame the people I blame the parents of the criminals, the families of these criminals, who on one end enable them too, because they know how life works, they know how America works, they know how racism works, but they still pacify these. You know what? It used to be, if you were in that life, your family didn't exile you, but they said you're gonna have to take that wherever the hell you gotta take it, somewhere in the streets. You're not bringing that over here. You're not even coming over here with that to bring that shit over here. But now, you know, everybody's living in the same house or going eat Sunday dinner together, or just kicking it all the time off and on. So to a degree, y'all co-signing criminality, and you're enabling all this stuff to happen. That's why I don't. There are some instances where I'd be like, man, that's why sometimes when they had these RIPs and freeze this person, I'm not gonna talk about a person that actually did something to get locked up. Like, that's stupid. Or did something dirty to get killed. I'm not that. No, I'm talking about people who didn't deserve what they got. Forget them other people. At this particular point, I'm gonna stop right there, and that's gonna be my video on this one, because I'm just saying some of our own people enable this, and I'm saying why. Peace.